Before this video starts, I have a few announcements to make. I have partnered up with a friend to expand the Hockey Talk podcast to Instagram and soon Twitter, so why don't you guys go follow Hockey Talk Daily on Instagram? Rumor has it that if you don't follow it, your favorite team may not win a Stanley Cup for the next 10 years, so if I were you, I'd get going. Secondly, I would like to sincerely thank Heart of Vlad of SB Nation for pulling up these statistics that I'll display for you guys today. Extremely hardworking guy and overall just such organized and easy to follow diagrams, so thank you for that. Let's now talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning. The entire hockey world seems to be happy about the performances of this team as of late. For the first time since March of 2014, the Tampa Bay Lightning have lost 5 straight games in the regular season, but the streak is now over due to their 5-2 win against the Flyers. In those 5 games, they only managed to get 1 point, which was an overtime loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Things have gone so south for this team that they benched their 3 best forwards in Steven Stamkos, Brayden Point, and Nikita Kucherov. Name me a time in the regular season where you would ever see those 3 guys being benched. John Cooper has some serious work to do, and it's only going to get tougher from here. Tampa is still ahead of the wildcard teams by 11 points, but the way they're playing right now, a chance for another strong playoff run is very, very unlikely. So that kind of brings me to today's topic as to whether or not the Lightning are just in a normal slump where you have that big stretch of consecutive losses, or are they in serious trouble where their future is a giant question mark? Whatever it may be, all we know right now is that Tampa's latest performances are unacceptable and they have been shocking to witness. Losing 5 straight games is one thing, but giving up a cumulative 27 goals in that stretch is just wild. We do 27 divided by 5 and we get 5 2/5. Tampa Bay is giving up on average 5 goals in each of those last 5 games. Now some of you guys may be asking, well, who's to blame for this? And well, it's kind of the entire team. John Cooper is frantically changing the lines. He's benching his star players. He's trying to circumvent around abrupt injuries. I'm sure he's going to be going through a nightmare right now, but as any head coach would do, they must keep thinking about the journey ahead of them rather than the problems they're facing right now. And that's honestly the right mentality to go with. While all of these things were happening, I was kind of curious to see if there were any changes regarding the team's results, so I went through Natural Stat Trick and had Heart of Vlad kind of crunch the numbers for me to kind of just see what's been the itch of this team's recent performances. Now, think of this whole situation as treating a patient. We're obviously the doctors, the numbers we calculate are the diagnostics, and our answers can be potential symptoms, if that makes any sense. Now, spoiler alert, nothing can really be done in terms of adding guys to their team. They can obviously call up guys from the Syracuse Crunch, their AHL affiliate, but of course they cannot add or trade for guys since the trade deadline passed last Friday. Therefore, this team has to work with whatever they have. So let's get into the analytics behind it, starting with shot share. Now, shot share is pretty much your go-to stat in any sort of team analysis. It pretty much displays shot attempts for and shot attempts against. Shots on goal, colloquially known as SOG, are just a staple of the total shots. However, they do not include misses, hitting iron, or blocked shots. Now you might be thinking, how is hitting the post considered a miss? And well, it's because the puck would not have crossed the goal line even if there was an empty net, therefore it would not count as a goal. So what does all of this have to do with the Tampa Bay Lightning and their struggles? Well, for the most part, they've actually been on the plus side of shot share, hence the good side of the statistic. Now, every team has that start to the season where things become a little chaotic, and the Bolts were going through that, but after it started to wear away, they were just out shooting the other team every night until the All-Star break came along, and when the All-Star weekend came, things fell, but not as badly as it may sound. They still had the good Vasilevskiy and their good star players performing well. When they got Germany-Brazil by the Florida Panthers, that kind of changed things, but people, and of course most of those people being Tampa fans, disregarded the 7-1 loss and made the players return from their vacation in Florida as their excuse for losing so badly. But that obviously was not the case. In fact, Tampa's lack of possession with the puck is actually hurting them big time. They're currently below 50% in terms of shot share at even strength, and to make matters worse, they're doing this with a struggling Vasilevskiy and struggling stars in Point, Kucherov, and Stamkos. Kinda weird how Kucherov is 3rd in points in the league, yet we're saying this is a struggle for him, but nonetheless, getting smacked by the Panthers once again, and then Pittsburgh doing it too, and then Carolina absolutely demolishing them 6-0 is just putting the numbers even further down. I'm not John Cooper or any other assistant coaches, so I obviously can't make changes, but the simple problem with this team is that they don't keep the puck on their sticks enough, and they don't generate scoring opportunities when they actually have possession. Now, another category we should talk about is shot quality. This is an area that a lot of people should be concerned about, especially for you Bolts fans out there watching this video. When I compared the expected shot quality per unblocked shot, very specific stat lines, I was really appalled to see how the Lightning have actually been shooting from worse areas. As the games went on, the distance between the goaltender and the player had actually started to gradually increase, meaning that they're making it more difficult for themselves to score a goal. I also saw how they managed to get fewer chances from the slot and from tight situations. Just to simplify things for those who may be lost, if shot share is a problem, the defense has to get the puck out of the zone, then shot quality is pretty much the forwards unable to get net front presence. This chart here by Heart of Lad from Google Sheets is pretty much showing how the Bolts have been above 50% in shot quality for the entirety of the season until we hit like the All-Star game range, where during that period, it gradually sunk its way below 50%. I kind of feel like I'm teaching a statistics class right now, but as you guys can see, the peaks become lesser and lesser and the troughs are still the same. Not a good thing, by the way. Putting these observations into equivalencies for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and well, we're pretty much concluding that the teams facing Tampa aren't shooting from better positions. It's the Bolts offense themselves who shoot from worse spots, and in the games where they're actually getting better chances than their opponents, the Lightning get outshot, as we can see in our chart. And this kind of circles back to the Bolts' lack of net front presence in their players. Sure, they've added some guys to make their lineup a bit tougher, but that just really hasn't helped them with their new problem of not being able to score goals. Putting the puck in the net is one thing, but getting to the net is another, and that was something that one of their depth players was good at. Vlad Namestnikov is the guy I'm talking about, by the way. He was great at creating scoring opportunities for the bottom six, but just looking at the depth guys on the team, out of Maroon, Perry, Jeannot, Belmar, and Isimont, at least 60% of those guys have been outshot in every one of those 5 games they've lost, with the exception to the last game where Carolina pretty much destroyed Tampa's top 6. For example, Anthony Cirelli had a 6% shot share and a 5% expected goal share. For those who have no idea what that means, just know Cirelli hasn't been the greatest in recent times. Now, personally, the stats I pulled up don't really dive that deep into the team's defense, but it should be known that Ian Cole and Zach Bogosian were most of the time at the bottom of the list. Even their top defensemen in Mikhail Sergachev and Victor Hedman, who's having a subpar season, by the way, they're also at the bottom in these recent games. Now that I look at the numbers, actually the same thing applies with Hayden Fleury. This defense is just worn out, and clearly they are still losing, which makes me want to think that their forwards are a potential problem. I think it's pretty obvious that the Lightning's floor to the lineup is not that great, and it's not really putting the work that they're supposed to. However, the really unfortunate part is how they got rid of a guy who has great puck possession numbers in Namestnikov. They traded him away to Winnipeg or wherever he went, I think San Jose and then Winnipeg. And then they went to get more grit, which makes absolutely no sense when they have guys like Maroon and Perry and Bogosian on their team to kind of stick up for their guys. We will see how this works out in the end for Tampa, but right now, despite them ending that losing streak, things aren't exactly working out for them just yet. I would like to once again sincerely thank Heart of Lad of SB Nation for pulling up these statistics. It seriously helped in the making of this video. And let's also thank Natural Stat Trick for the team report and game logs. That was also very helpful, so thanks for that. Either way, let me know in the comments about your thoughts on this Tampa team right now. What do you guys see in them? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in and have a wonderful day.